Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge.
And I'm Ashley Sledge.
And let's talk horror. So today we are joined by the beautiful Susan Priver. Susan, how you doing today?
I'm doing just fine now that I got on the Zoom thing.
Well, we're glad you got on.
Yes. So a little bit about Susan. She plays the titular character Dorothea in the film of the same name, which is available on VOD now. So a little synopsis of the film. As she lays dying in prison, notorious serial killer Dorothea Puente finally spills her grotesque secrets to a young journalist, unraveling the story of how a life shaped by abuse, betrayal, and manipulation drove her to drug, murder, and bury her helpless victims, turning her boarding home into a graveyard where no one screamed and no one escaped. So, man, I got to know first off, like, how did you get involved with the project, Susan?
Well, I've been working now for how long have I worked? I've done this is my that was my sixth film with Chad Farron, who you guys probably know. I did Nightcaller with him. I don't know if you saw it. Nightcaller, Scalper, Pig Killer, Unspeakable, Beyond the Wall of Sleep. With Eddie Furlong was the lead in that. I got to be one of the leads too. And then I think after that was this one that was, I may be missing one, Dorothea. And then we did one more after that, which will be coming up. The Sunset Strip Killers.
Nice. Yeah, we were able to have him on the show. We love him. He's absolutely fantastic. He's one of the genuine nice ones. And he does a lot of this true crime type stuff as well.
Yeah. That's
awesome. I'm sorry. Ed Kemper was the one before Dorothea, and that's why we ended up doing Dorothea. Ed Kemper got picked up by Dread, the distribution company, and it was so good that they said, go ahead, make another one. And so he came up with Dorothea, based on Dorothea Puente. So that was my sixth. Yes.
Yeah, Ed, that's the one that we talked about with Ed. Was Ed Kemper, I mean, is what we talked about. I'm sorry.
Yes.
That was what the interview that we had that we talked about. So that's how we got in contact with him.
I play the mom in that. I play Ed's mom in that.
Yeah.
Susan, what was your experience like on set?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, because it was my sixth film with Ed, not Ed Kemper, with Chad and the incredible cast and crew that we work with. I mean, we have a few different cast members every time, only because it's different characters. But this was a really fun shoot. I mean, they're always difficult because they're pretty fast, but really fun because Chad has a language with his DP, Jeff Billings, who's fantastic, and his sound guy, Matt Olivo, who has done a few of them. He has another one, Steve Hitzberger, but all of them, and the grips, or the couple of grips, one crew, Sebastian Fernandez, who's in the movies, also on the crew. So the crew and the costume people, just everybody is just so down to earth and real. It's not like, it's like our own version of Hollywood, where people actually like each other. I mean, little things happen, but we really try to make the best thing that we can. And I've gotten involved with him now 7 times. And I guess he trusts me. He trusts me at this time because I play something very different every time.
Yeah. So he knows that you have range.
Yes. He knows the range of what you're able to do.
So does it make it easier that you've worked with him already 7 times to, come back?
Absolutely. It does, especially if the script is good, and these last 3 scripts have been fantastic. That makes me happy. That makes a big difference. Everything is script. Not everything is script, but it starts with a script. You got nothing if you don't have a good script.
Right.
So yes, but I think the thing that I would say is relaxing about it is that Chad is very relaxed on the set. I mean, he does smoke a lot of cigarettes and drink a lot of Dr. Pepper, but he knows what he's doing, and that makes us all feel more at ease. And he almost never, I've heard him yell a couple of times, but almost never. And so as an actress, that helps a lot, because you don't want to be yelled at, because then you go into a little shell and you don't want to do work.
for sure.
It's
Yeah.
definitely when you have someone that's more democratic and willing to listen and not lose their temper, it makes it much more of a free set,
Yeah.
which makes you want to work harder for that director because you know that he has your best interest at heart as well.
Plus, you know what to expect, working with him so many times, what
Yeah.
he expects from you also.
Right, which is number one, being prepared and know your lines. I mean,
Right.
that's if you don't, you're not a good idea. I mean, he'll be nice about it because you'll get to rehearse a little bit, but basically, I'm very prepared because I know how short it is, and yeah, we have a sort of strangely unspoken communication,
Mhm.
and I guess by now he trusts me. Oh, there's a baby.
Yeah.
How nice. Congratulations. Sounds young. I think he trusts me at this point, and if he sees something going wrong with any of us as actors or crew people or DP, he'll say something, but he does it in a nice way, and that makes it so much easier.
Mhm.
Right.
Absolutely.
You don't want to be yelled at.
Right.
No, at any age, that's not what we want. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Right,
Have a
right.
conversation with me like a human being and we'll fix what's broken here.
Yeah, yeah.
So obviously when you're doing this type of film, it's definitely based more real
Yeah.
than anything else. So was that a little bit different for you in your research for being Dorothea? Did you do a lot of research about like her mannerisms and the way that she speaks to try to make it more factual when you were doing the role?
I have to tell you a whole story if you have
Please,
time.
we are
All
willing
right,
to
well,
listen.
okay, so I did some research in the beginning, and there's not a lot of her being interviewed. She kind of has her head down. She's very demure. I didn't even hear her voice, to be honest with you. There's a lot of photos and there's a lot of reading information, and that isn't something you can copy. You can just put that in your head and put that in your pipe and smoke it, and hopefully it'll come out through the character.
Mhm.
But ultimately, you have yourself to work with, so you must look inside yourself to find this character. But this is the thing that kind of changed it a little bit. Chad wanted to cast an ex-star / celebrity in the
Mhm.
role who was quite beautiful but had a lot of plastic surgery.
Mhm.
And I think she wanted more money for the part too. And she wasn't a big star, but she had starred in a few things. And I said, Chad,
Mhm.
this woman, as the older woman, when she's elderly in prison, would have never had plastic surgery. Let's stay real here. So the woman he found that would do it for the amount of money Chad has had a really strong kind of Texas twang.
Mhm.
And he said, well, I hired her. She's great. You're going to have to do it with a Texas twang. I said, fine, easy as pie, not hard for me.
Right.
And so he wrote in a section where I explained to the audience, because here's a spoiler. My character speaks out to the audience here and there why she does the things she does, here and there, not a lot. You're mostly in the story. And she says why she speaks with a Texas twang, not because of the actress, but because her first husband just loved it. And so I had to do that through the whole movie. So I did that because I can't think of the name of the actress's name. Shit. Pat could only speak that way. She only had a Texas twang, and that's it. So that is a thing that we just decided on. Okay, we're gonna have to go off. Dorothea was not from Texas. She did not have a Texas twang. So these events are inspired by the true story, by the people she killed, where she lived, but we had to add that for the reality of her being in prison, because there's a number of shots of my character in prison when she's dying.
Mhm.
And so everything that I do is basically the storyline as the elderly Dorothea tells it. And you guys haven't
Okay.
seen it yet.
Sure.
So
Right.
you'll get when you see it. You'll get when you see
Yeah.
it. I hope. I mean, it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But
Well, like I said,
that's why we
Ashley's
did it.
always beating me up because I spoil everything when we do these. I want to
Now I
talk
just
about certain
spoiled it for
scenes
now
and
I just spoiled
yeah.
it for
No, that's
everybody.
No, that's
okay.
okay. Yeah, I'm still excited to watch it.
Yeah.
So,
It's
what do
fun.
you think the difference is like between doing a fictional role and a role based on a real person? Like, is there differences? How you get
Um,
prepared?
no, there's really no differences because you're still making a fiction. You are not doing a documentary. You still have to play a role. you're even in a role in a fiction, you're still doing a role based on a real person. So you must find those things within yourself that can connect with that particular character. So I had to do that, even though this is quote unquote true crime. It's still a fiction. You're creating it. Just like if you were writing a book that's true crime, you have a lot of facts, but you've got to create the characters. You've got to create dialogue. So what Chad wrote is based on fact, but it's never fact. You're playing it. Does that make sense to you?
No, absolutely. It's like you said, you can base it on a true story all you want, but you're not going to have every word verbatim. You're not going to have all that done exactly the way. You have to still write this in a manner of fiction. And I think that that's very important to stress is, yes, this is based on true events, but this is also still a work of fiction. This is
Right.
something that we're still fictionalizing for you guys for entertainment purposes.
I mean, it's
Exactly.
based on some, like
Based on,
fiction.
or some writers will put inspired by.
Right.
So it's
Yes.
inspired by all these facts. And what you can do when you're doing research is look up all these facts and go like, oh my
Right.
God, she did that. Wow, she really was fucking nuts. Wow,
Yeah.
and she's supposed to, and you know that she was this demure, sweet lady. Wow, she must have been a sociopath. Okay, okay, where do I go? I've got to start with, okay, why was she a sociopath? Was it her environment? Was it the trauma that happened to her? Or did she just have that little crazy gene in her, which is really something wrong with the brain, you know?
Yes.
And then trauma and the environment can make it worse. So she was a traumatized woman. So I had to do that research in order to find a sociopath. And sociopaths tend to be very charming people. They tend to be very charming people. So I made the choice to bring out all the lovely charm that I do know I have somewhere in there. And so when you play an evil person, because obviously if she's capable of killing people, there's some evil in there. But the minute you start
Yes.
playing evil, you're playing literal. And when you play literal, it's boring. When you play an evil person as an evil person, it's boring. At least for me as an actress. You know, it'll come out somewhere. Clearly, if she's going to kill someone, she has that in her. But when you're dealing with other characters, if you show that you're evil, they're not going to move into your boarding house. They're like, fuck, this lady is scary. I'm not moving in. So it's that dichotomy that I found interesting as an actress for this demure woman who wasn't young to be able to do it, or even if she was young, to be able to do this. How can someone do this? How is someone capable of doing this? And it all comes down to, how do you find the sociopathy or the insanity within yourself, you know, and still keep it together and still kind of show like you're okay. So you have to play it real, like you're actually okay. I'm fine. This is how I do things. You say it
And
with
that's
a
something
smile.
that I did want to talk about because we've been quoted as saying that we don't cover true crime stuff because it's real and we believe in horror. This is not about Dorothea Puente. This is about Susan and how we wanted to talk to Susan about this. We don't want to idolize or glorify Dorothea Puente and say she was, you know, this icon. She's not to us. She's lower than that.
And she's
But
not to me either.
Susan, right, you know, Susan is the person that we wanted to talk to. And I just didn't want to be looked at as hypocrites for the way that we conduct ourselves. We wanted to do this interview because of our respect and our admiration for Susan Priver, not for Dorothea Puente. So we wanted to make that very well known. We don't idolize Dorothea. We don't put her on a pedestal. We don't. Susan is a different story, and that's why we wanted to bring her on here because of our admiration and respect for the quality of the work that she does. Being, you know, fans of Chad Farron and the work that he's done, to be able to talk to Susan about the things that she's done meant a lot to Ashley and I. So disclaimer out there, that's why this episode is happening, not because of Dorothea Puente. So the big thing we do here on Sledgehammer Horror, Susan, is we like to talk to people about the first horror movie they watched and what it meant to them. So do you remember what the first horror movie you watched was that got you started in the genre?
Well, to be honest with you, the first great one I watched, because I was a teenager, was The Exorcist, which is an incredible movie. And there's incredible actors in it. And
Yes.
I don't know that it got me started on the genre, but it made me have respect
Mhm.
for what can be done, even though quote unquote it is entertainment, but it like takes you right into story. And
Yes.
I think the human element of story and why we're frightened of things and why we like horror to get away from the horror of our own lives or
Yes.
Yes.
shit that happens to us all the
Absolutely.
time, because that's life.
Yes.
You know, I think the human need for storytelling will always be around, and that genre can tell stories in a way where people can get lost. It like for me, it's not just about the murders; it's about being frightened by something that you don't know. It's like the unknown.
Mhm.
And I think that movie really captured it. You have amazing actors, an amazing director, and an amazing script, and an amazing book. And so I'm just going to go with that one. And then there is one other one, and I'm sure you guys do so many of the newer ones, and I'm not going to talk about them because you've already talked about all of them. But the greatness of the great Roman Polanski, who directed Rosemary's Baby.
Mhm.
And you don't see anything, but it is so scary. You see very,
Yes.
very little. And so I think those are the things that scare me, because it's the psychological things that people do to other people. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
how could he do this to his wife? He sold his soul. I mean, this is probably before you guys' time, but if you've seen it in your
Oh,
horror
we
fans,
love Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
Oh
it's
yeah.
an amazing movie. And like how someone can be that evil to sell his soul, his wife's soul, to the devil,
Right.
so she can give birth to him, so he can have an acting job. That's how
Yeah.
bad and you know what? That's how bad actors are.
Yeah. No shit.
Yeah, they'll sell someone else's soul.
Right. Yeah. I ain't touching mine.
Right.
Um.
But they probably already sold their soul too.
Yeah. And
Right.
if
And
you
I
look
and
at the-
I pride myself as not having sold my soul. I'm
Yes.
trying to keep from doing that, and that's why I haven't had huge success in my life until now, working with Chad Farron, who's so dear and so talented, because I haven't sold my soul. But now I'm doing
Right.
it as an actress. I mean, it the business of the business is, you kind of have to drink the Kool-Aid. And I think with
Yeah.
Chad, I haven't, you
Yeah.
know, I haven't, because yeah, these are low, you're not dealing with mega money,
Yeah.
you know?
Well,
you don't need mega money in order to make a great story. And I think that that's why, especially with horror fans, we love independent film,
Yeah.
because you're not doing this for a paycheck. You're doing this for
Commitment.
passion
Passion,
and
yeah.
love. And your fellow like you said, you have key grips that'll do stunts. You have producers that'll come in and do background
Well,
shots.
and it just shows that all these people are returning for, these different
Yes.
movies. It just shows how, great Chad is, and people want
Yeah.
to make the best product.
Yes.
It's amazing. And it's not a paycheck. I mean, yeah, everybody gets paid something, but it's
Yeah.
not
Sure.
that. And there's not a huge amount of glory, except for people like you and people that will watch these kind of films that are actually, we're trying our best. We're trying our
Mhm.
best to do a good job. And for me as an actress, as long as I have a challenging role, acting is
Right.
really fun.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
and when you have like a grip that's young, or he's our IT guy, he did one of the stunts in this film. He'd never done stunts. I mean, he was 20 or 25 maybe,
Yeah.
skinny guy, and rolled downstairs. I
Oh,
mean,
jeez.
well, like was something a stunt guy would do, because
Yeah.
we don't have the money for a good stunt guy, or a stunt guy, period.
I wouldn't have got up for 3 days.
No, right?
No, he
Luckily he
did.
was young.
He
Yeah.
did, and he came back and worked on the next film.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, 'cause
See,
he
and
really loves
that's the
working with
love of
everyone.
independent film. I'll do
'Cause
whatever I can to make this
Right.
sure this movie gets made.
Right.
Right. And he found Chad. I think he wrote to him and said, "What can I do?" He saw one of his films. I forgot which one he saw. He said, "I'll do anything to work with you, whatever, because you're you do
Right.
what you can do." And so he's like part of our gang now.
Right.
Awesome.
That's
It's
amazing.
kind of cool. It's
Mhm.
kind of cool. And he's an IT guy. Things that the actors don't. Well, one of our actors, Sylvia Spross, she's producing now. She's very good she's very organized, so she gets everybody doing what they need to do. So that's kind of
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, and Susan, I do want to thank you so much for coming on and talking to us and sharing your love of the genre and your experience with the film. And I want to remind everybody, we not only have the links for the movie down in the description, we also have Susan's social media links. So make sure you're following her so you can stay up to date on all the amazing things that she's going to have for us coming down the pipeline. So, Susan, please don't go anywhere. We have a couple more questions for you. Everybody else, if you haven't
Okay.
already, please like, comment, and subscribe. It does help build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Those links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror,
Stay who you are.
and we'll see you guys soon.